Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of Midweek Matters. I'm your host, James Graham, and of course, as always, Midweek Matters joined by...
Charlie White. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm doing very well. I've had a big day of interviewing today.
You have,
Stay tuned for that. Honestly,
big one's on the way.
Big one on the way.
Look at this sign that we've got now. By around listeners, if you're watching on YouTube, we've got a neon sign in. We've got a third camera so you can see the whole studio now as well.
It's looking very professional.
It is, isn't it?
Big shout out to Kings of Neon for helping us organise this sign. They do the custom made ones.
Yep.
Obviously, they've got our logo in there. So if you're looking for any form of neon sign for a business, whatever that may be, man cave, woman cave, anything in between cave,
kingsofneon.com.au.
Yeah, kingsofneon.com.au.
The turnaround time's quick as well. They get it out to you really quick, which is fantastic.
Love the name as well.
It is, yeah. It is a great name.
Great name.
You know how their name's like Kings of Neon? You know the lifts, there's like one lift company that dominates the lift market, Schindler's Lifts.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Next time you get into a lift,
I know,
everybody.
I've seen Schindler's List, but that's not a...
That's the top of that's the big
I know,
one. Yeah.
But that's not named after the movie, is it?
Yeah, of course. It's like a little play on words. Obviously it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Schindler's Lifts.
Far out.
What did you think it was named after?
Was it a bloke called Schindler?
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Surely it can't be.
I assume it's a little play on words there. But could be making an ass out of you and me.
Never assume. Never assume. Well,
we
should probably talk about some footy. But yes, make sure if you need or require a neon sign, check out kingsofneon.com.au. The only place to get your neon signs. Well, not the only place, but you know what I mean.
I wonder if Kings of Neon do custom ANZAC Day neon signs, because the West Tigers maybe should give them a ring as soon as possible to help them out with the disaster that is their jersey. I mean, if it couldn't get any worse, I woke up this morning and read the article, and it's just as strange as it gets, this story.
Yeah, it just goes from bad to worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not acceptable for any club to mess that up. Being here for what, 10 years, 11 years, you know how much this day means to people. And even myself, I was actually speaking with Wayne Bennett this week, and we spoke. And the reason I was calling him is because we've been putting it off for a while. But in the off season, I took my dad to some of the war memorials that Wayne took us to, and just to say thank you and how much it changed my life being there, that appreciation that I got. And he says the same. It's like, I don't think people today realise just the price that those guys were going to pay or were willing to pay for us to have the great lives that most of us do now. So,
well, most people listening to this show will have had a family member who fought in a war. My granddad was a pilot in the Air Force, and he's English, but it's to do that on the jersey, to use American soldiers. And also one of the more embarrassing parts is you just Google soldier near helicopter, and it's like the first picture that comes up. It's as sort of stock standard, lifeless as it can get for such an important day.
You'd think there'd be a conversation with some veterans around, or certain...
Well, they allegedly reached out to the Holsworth Army Barracks. So initially last night, I think Brent Reed reached out for comment, and they came out and they basically sort of like defended it and said, it's a way of commemorating all soldiers, blah, blah. And then today they've now released a statement apologising for it, realising they've got it wrong, and now they're going to redesign the jersey. But why are they always 2 steps back, always chasing their tail? Last night when it came out, why didn't they then apologise and say they would redo it and kill it then? Yeah. Instead it carries on now today, and then they have to apologise.
Well, PR disaster, but thankfully they're going to make the changes.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because they've realised the errors of their ways, and they're going to fix it. So, yeah, but a huge game Easter Monday.
Yes. And well, I want to hear from some listeners now, some of the Tigers fans. Let's get them on the line, because I think, it just goes from bad to worse, and I really want to find out what these fans are thinking. So let's start with Jay, who just joins us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the buy round Midweek Matters, Jay. We really appreciate you coming on. Look, we love the passion of the fans. Our game would be nothing without it. Now, we put out today about any Tigers fans want to talk, and you jumped at the opportunity. And to be honest, mate, I don't even know where to begin this conversation, so I'll just hand over to you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mate, I've been a Tiger supporter, so a West Magpies supporter since I was in nappies. Went to every game and they got flogged every week. Rode the highs of the 05 grand final. But honestly, I don't think you can sort of describe this as... I just don't see a future at the moment, eh? Like, it's brutal.
No future at all after such hope to begin the season with a new coaching structure, some quality signings.
To be honest with you, I was a fan of Tim Sheen's in 05, 2011. I sort of and loved the bloke on 360, but when he signed Braithen Astor in 2012, just for looking for experience, I thought, he's getting on, and yeah, I just don't think it was the right appointment, for where we're at as a club. Like Sheensy, I can understand bringing people that are familiar with the club, but the game's changed from the get-go. Like, yeah, I just sorry, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going. What do you say to the people that say you have to exercise patience with this? Are you over being patient?
Oh, absolutely. Felt it when Cleary left. 2 years later, he made a grand final with his new club. Sort of had to be patient with losing, I think it was 3 quality juniors. Had to be patient through then. Even just recently, the whole Isaiah Papali'i thing, was he too interested in coming into the club? We couldn't get a definite answer. Like, it's just, like I said, it's become comical, really. Like, and then now, and not as a fan, like, I do like to listen into the post-game interviews and just the constant dodging of questions. And the people that are really listening to those post-game interviews are the fans, like, really. Like, it's just, yeah, patience is running thin.
Do you think it's time for Pascoe to move on? I know it's been all the talk about this week in the media, and it seems like everyone's kind of coming at Justin Pascoe for the texting stuff and kicking the footy pre-game, but do you think he's probably had long enough now to try and turn things around? It's time to get some fresh blood in?
Oh, I think so, but who's putting their hands up? Like, I mean, he come from the Panthers, I'm pretty sure. He did get the sack there, and in saying that, like, I think he just needs to take 10 steps back if he does, resume his position. But yeah, you saw that with the Dragons, oust, and sorry, Jimmy, but yeah, like the Dragons have been sort of in the same trajectory. I just don't know. Like, I mean, Jim Sheens must be sitting there going, where do I go from here? Like, how do I change this team around? Pascoe's probably sitting there going, what can I do? Like, it's just...
Well, one of the things they can do is not dig themselves into trouble, not make the situations worse. Which, there's always going to be a team at the bottom of the ladder. There's always going to be teams struggling for form, for consistency, injuries, whatever. But fundamentally, the golden rule is don't make life more difficult for yourself than it needs to be. And the impression I get is that that's what the Tigers are doing. Like, you look at the Pascoe incident, being on his phone. I've got no issue with them being on the field, but being on your phone, being in the dressing room, no. Being on your phone in the dressing room, nope. And then this jersey issue. I mean, if that was an isolated incident at any club, there's going to be questions asked big time. But for the Tigers to do it, it makes it worse because it's just, it's a comedy of errors.
It is. It's laughable. Like, you just, as a fan, so I was a member 2 years ago, and I was a fan of Maguire. And then I just thought he didn't have that many answers to all the questions that were arising. And the pressure was there. And even if you won 8 in a row at the end of the year, like all it takes is just another loss and he was just under the pressure again. And I genuinely think that we made the wrong decision in signing Tim Sheen. Like I said, I was a fan of him in 2005, and, I just think within the last few years of his coaching career, he sort of is getting moved on. And, I do wish we went in the direction of signing Shane Flanagan. You were coached by him last year. I don't know to the extent of how much he would add to the club, but I just think,
Well, for some reason, a lot of people at Clubland don't seem to enjoy Shane Flanagan. He comes with some baggage, but that said, he's got a proven track record of picking a team near the bottom. So let's look at his career with Cronulla, a team in a not too dissimilar situation to the Tigers. He's turned them around, and he turned them into premiership winners.
Well, mate, and so I do follow the Tigers, in junior level as well. Like I have a friend, his son is playing in the current SG Ball side, and he hasn't gone into too much detail, but I'm pretty sure he was he re-signed with the Tigers, and I just feel like thinking, God, is this the right career move? Like,
yeah, wow.
As bad as mate, that's he's a young fella in the SG Ball side. They went undefeated in Harold Matts. Had a few clubs looking for him, and it's come to that point, man. Like,
wow,
is your career going to be in jeopardy?
That's incredible that even at a junior level, there's question marks over whether that's the place to be.
Well, and so I'm from sort of the catchment area of the Tigers, and even when I was playing just local footy, some of the local talent had to sort of go to the Dragons. Like, some of, like, prime example, Jack Stockwell, he was a Picton junior, and he ended up playing for the Dragons. Mind you, Dragons, pretty close, but that Group 6 and the West area, there's some good talent there, but a lot of them were getting taken away. And looking at it now, I just don't think it's the right decision to sign with the Tigers looking forward.
Yeah, sorry, Jay, just a quick one before we go. You said earlier, patience is thin. Huge game on Easter Monday. Are you going to be part of these planned protests? And what will be happening should you not win that game, or at least perform in that game?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Like, I've said it every time they've gotten, flogged. Am I going to turn around and keep supporting? I probably will, but mate, you know what? It's going to have to be a big performance. The same thing happened last year with Hastings. Slotted a field goal, and then, a couple of weeks later they were back to the same. Like, it's going to have to be a big performance and, a big stance by the coaching staff, in the media room, like saying this, we don't want to go back down to this path again.
Yeah. But what about these planned? I believe today it's been reported that there will be a planned protest. Are you going to be part of that?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm from the South Coast, so I'll be travelling to the game on Monday. And mate, I guess so. Yeah, like I'm all for it. Something's got to change. I mean, there's no harm in that, because at the moment, like, we're booing the team when they come off the field. Like, yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Jay. Well, thanks for joining us on the Bar, mate. Really appreciate your time. And look, no one likes to see fans suffering. I'm a fan myself, an Everton fan, and we've got our struggles, so I feel your pain.
Yeah, mate. I just want to give mate, loved your work on the footy field and loving your work off it.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Love your work on Triple M.
Cheers, mate.
Geez, Jay was passionate, but I think we've got time for probably one more. We'll get Sammy Shalabi on the line. Sammy, have you got me and Jimmy here, brother?
Yeah, got you guys. How you going?
Yeah, we're going okay. More importantly, how are you? We've been talking to the Tigers, and it's difficult to know what issue to start on. So I'll hand it over to you and why you were why you wanted to come on this show. And you could probably write a book about the last month.
Oh, definitely, man. A chapter for each week. Look, man, I say it. Look, it's weird. It's a weird situation because, like, the Tigers over the last 10 years, we've gone through how many different coaches? They've gone through how many different squads, how many different players? And then you look at the players that have been let go and look how good they are at other clubs. And you look at who we've kept on, it's like, oh, come on, this doesn't make sense here. So that's the thing that's always kind of kept me wondering.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But look, to be honest, I don't know. I think I actually don't mind the squad this season. The squad's actually fine this season. I don't understand what's going on with upper management, with the coaching, the structures in place. I don't know. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Look, the Tigers seem to be harming themselves, making life more difficult for themselves. So Dane Laurie not playing, and I know, there's the like of the Instagram post, but before that, for me, he was arguably your best player. He seemed to be the one that clicked with Api Coruscant.
Exactly.
And he comes 9 minutes off the bench, and then he's in New South Wales Cup.
Yeah, like this doesn't make sense. Like he's supposed to be our long-term number one, and it doesn't really work out. And you got Dewey coming in. They don't know what position he's going to be. Is he a 6? Is he a 1? Is he a number 4? Then you got Brooks. I think we need a free Brooks. I feel sorry for the bloke. He needs to be freed. He needs to get out of the system.
When you say freed, do you mean like go elsewhere?
Yeah. There's I don't know what else he's supposed to do. He's been there for 10 years.
Yeah, they had the choice to let him go as well. Newcastle wanted him. It's such a strange decision that they kept onto him.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, don't get me. I'm really getting depressed thinking about it. Like, we had all these halfbacks, and we let go of all of them except for the one that's been there for 10 years.
Yeah,
this doesn't make.
We can sense your frustration. There's been reports today that there's organised protests scheduled for Monday afternoon. Are you going to be a part of those protests?
Look, to be honest, it's Ramadan for me. I'm fasting, so I possibly won't be part of them. But I have seen in all the fan groups and all that players are planning, like the fans are planning to do something. I just haven't paid too much attention to it in the last couple of days.
And you support that?
Of course, something needs to change.
Yeah.
You can't have a club that's been to the finals three times since our existence. Since our entire existence, I've been in the finals 3 times. Like that's a problem. We haven't been to the top 8 since 2011. We've had 15 different coaches. We've had all these different players. We've signed the best players in the league, and same shit, different smell.
You talk about the different coaches, Sammy. You talk about the different players. Where do you think then the blame for what's happened the last 10 years lie? If with all the new coaches coming through and all the new players, is the blame in that upper management? Is that where it should be directed?
Well, if you think about it like this, like you have a coach, and the coach obviously wants to bring his own ideas and his own systems in place. His own ideas and own systems. So give me 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's all good. I know
is that Justin Pascoe trying to get on
the phone? Yeah, so thing is, the coach comes in, they want to obviously have their own players, their own systems, and then by the time they fix up the salary cap from the previous coach, then that coach ends up getting sacked, and then it's just a repeat process. So it's like you're building. It's like, all right, you're building the hope train. Everyone's on board. All right, that's it. We're with the Tigers. You finally get the salary cap checked up, and then they sack the coach. And now they convince us to go through another couple of year rebuild, like what they've done now with Tim Sheens and Benji. Like Madge was almost there. Sorry, 1 second.
That's all good, mate. It's all good.
Yeah, so like Madge was he built a system, he was ready to rock and roll, and then they sacked him midway through the season instead of giving him to the end of the year. When he finally had his squad together that he wanted, he finally fixed up the salary cap, finally got everything under control, they let him go. It's like, all right, fine, we'll deal with it. Now you got Tim Sheens, and that's only a 2-year project until Benji comes in.
Yeah.
What do you do? Now it's like, we're on another 5-year roller coaster train where they're going to go through new systems, new management, new training systems, new players, fix up the salary cap again. And then what do you do?
The other thing with that is a lot of those players are only signed for the next couple of years as well. And if things don't turn around for the Tigers, those players that you've signed to sort of build for the future, they're not going to hang around either. Like Api Coruscant won't be hanging around if the Tigers are rubbish. Johnny Bateman won't be hanging around if the Tigers are rubbish. So
exactly, yeah.
They've got to make change now.
It's kind of like we've been like a feeding pool for the best talent in the league for how many years now? You look at some of the best players at the Tiger. A lot of them come out of the Tiger systems. Like, Penrith now currently have the best system in place, which is fair enough. And now look, all the best players in the league are basically Penrith players. But over the last 10 years, if you look at the squad of players that have left the Tigers, that team could win 4 premierships.
Yeah.
That it's ridiculous. Like, how come we're losing all these players? Why aren't they staying? Why aren't they playing at their potential with us instead of going to another squad?
Well, these are all great questions, Sammy, and I don't know who has the answers, but look, mate, there's no one answering. There's no one out there answering them for you, which is the shame, mate. And look, I certainly don't like to hear fans suffering. I get your frustration. You're certainly not the only one, and I can sure understand why this protest is going ahead. But we'll let you get back to the kids, mate, and we really appreciate you coming on here on the Buy Round. We appreciate your support, and I don't think it's the last time we'll be hearing from Tigers fans throughout the year.
Nah, definitely. You can hear from me again soon, don't you worry.
All right, mate. Well, you take care of yourself and, look after those kids.
Too. Maybe make those kids Roosters members instead.
Oh, my God. We're going to move to the eastern suburbs. That's what we need.
All right, mate. Take it easy. Thanks again.
Take care, mate.
We're going to take a quick break from the show to talk about our new partner, AG1. Now, I love AG1. I've been taking them for about 6 months now. I've noticed multiple health benefits. My gut feels better. My focus is more clear. My intensity in my workouts has gone up as well. And this is all thanks to AG1. It's the one-stop solution for all your supplement needs. I love starting my day with a refreshing glass of AG1. So simple. 1 scoop in the glass, some cold water, give it a stir, or if you want to go fancy and get the shake, do that as well. But it's so easy. It takes out the guesswork with your supplement requirements. If you miss it in the morning, take it at night. I never miss a day with AG1, and I am reaping the rewards from it. And the best thing about it is it tastes great too. And you can really start to feel the benefits. Have it as a simple part of your routine, and you'll see the benefits too. So if you're looking to make positive change with your health outcomes, check out AG1. You will not be disappointed. There's 75 high-quality ingredients. Take care of all your nutritious needs every single day. It's a small habit that you start and gets big results. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So to check out this exclusive Buy Round listeners deal, head to athleticgreens.com/buy round. That's athleticgreens.com/buy round. Your only place to get the free 1-year supply of vitamin D from Athletic Greens plus 5 free travel packs. Make sure you check it out or click in the show notes where we'll have that link for you as well. Please don't delay and get your Athletic Greens today. Yeah, well, Charlie, the fans have had their say.
I needed like a beer after that. It was dark, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's however many, it's decade of frustration and false hope. I think that's the difficult thing, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's for me, it's difficult observing and thinking how things can change. And I do go back to myself as a player, and sometimes you're just going, all it's going to take is one win. All it's going to take is one win, and we'll be back. But I just can't see any evidence at the minute that the Tigers have got a win coming close. They've not performed. People will say, "Oh, but they came back against the Dogs." But they weren't in that game.
No,
at all.
No,
the Dogs put the cue on the rack, and it was a 40-degree day. They, thinking it was over. And they reacted to basically what they'd seen from the Tigers. And at this level, you can't do that. But
same with the Storm game as well. I think they justified, we only lost that by 12 points.
Yeah, that's an achievement. That's an achievement. Against an understrength Melbourne Storm side to go and only lose by 12.
Yeah, and one of the tries was like Storm mucking around. They should have just cleared it.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know. I can't see them winning many games this year.
No. Look, it's the only... I said it's difficult to see light at the end of the tunnel. the only glimmer that they've got, get Charlie Staines back in, learn how to play with Appy, and get off the back of Bateman. That's your game plan.
Yeah, but I mean, that's another thing. They've now changed. They brought Appy back to 5'8". Do they not have any idea what their best spine is? They obviously don't. They've changed it. I think if you look at the 6 games, this with the 6th game, they probably had about 4 different spines.
Well, that's it. You get criticised for not making change, but you get criticised for just changing it all the time. Like, you know, you think back to the good coaches that I've had, and yeah, there might be competition for spaces in certain areas and a rejig, but it always seems to work out best when, like, say, you go back to that mentality of all we need is a win. When people are chopping and changing, creates, you know, uncertainty, and people don't like that. You need to know it's like, you know, Brooks, who I think is a good player on his day, he seems to be the one that escapes it. Like, I don't know what they're seeing in the video that makes him, you know, he's been really the only constant there.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact is, it's probably he's getting $1 million, and
probably
the bosses are like, we can't have this guy sitting on the sidelines. We're paying him $1 million a year. He's our marquee player. He's our highest paid player. Yeah. We need to see him starting. Anyway, enough about the Tigers.
Let's.
You know, I'm almost sick of talking about them.
Yeah, it's almost not too easy, but we've got to talk about it. Yeah, it is what it is.
Massive game to start the round this weekend. Thursday night, so tonight, Storm against the Roosters. It's Brandon Smith's reunion game. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I know. Speaking to him in the week, you can just sense there's something bubbling away inside him, can't you? And it's all friendly until it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or him and Christian Welsh, bit of banter. But that feeling of playing against your old club, it's
special.
I hated it. The very first one I hated.
How badly do you want to win?
Yeah. Like, insane. I remember when I was at the Dragons and we were actually going well, and the Bulldogs beat the Dragons. Like, it was a drubbing win jubilee. It was like, the frustration was insane. In fact, that losing when I was at the Dragons, the loss against the Bulldogs in COVID year, first or second game back after COVID, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, really?
Get on out of here. Go back to it. Well, I was going to retire.
Why was it? Why was that?
Because my head had gone. Like, there was a number of issues, but then losing against a former team in that fashion post-COVID, it felt like it was over.
Right.
And I was ready to retire that day. And actually, thankfully, Tyson Frizzell and my mate Paul Wellens back in England sort of pulled me around, and we ended up going back. But
so did you in the dressing room at the end of the game say, I think I'm done, boys?
Yeah. No, I didn't say it. I said to Ty, I'd been considering it for a bit, and then I said to Frizzell on the drive home, I said, I'm done.
How quickly did you leave Australia then after that?
A couple of weeks.
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks maybe, yeah. But yeah, playing against your old team, always so strange, especially when you're so tight with these people, and then you know their traits, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. You know, you've trained against them 1,000 times. You want to show them what you've still got. You want to show them what they're missing. And at the end of the day, you know, Cheese and Brandon Smith and Harry Grant.
Yep.
You know, they're up against each other.
Yeah.
Like, let's put the jokes and the friendships apart. They're up against each other to prove who's better. Like, they are. Like, you can't dodge that. I probably should have asked Cheese this, but like, seriously though, like,
no, of course,
they are. Like, Bellamy had to make a choice, couldn't keep them both.
Yep.
And he chose Harry Grant.
I'm on Brandon Smith's side as a member of the Byron family.
Yeah,
right behind him. Also, no Tedesco for the Roosters.
And rightly so. You know that these are the reasons why these new stand-on policies are in place, and that it takes off the pressure from James Tedesco that undoubtedly would have been there had these stand-down policies not been in place. This is exactly why they've come into play, and you get the desired outcome.
They are a bit cursed, though, the Roosters, with head knocks, aren't they? It feels like as a club they're actually cursed. Boyd Cordner, Jake Friend, Luke Keary, Tedesco.
Yeah.
It's a long list of players who are having
high profile players that
I have to wonder if it's a style of play that the Roosters have, or a lot of this is just probably bad luck.
I think, to be honest, Charlie, from my observations, I think a lot of it is just bad luck.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes that's what it is.
Yep.
It is bad luck. And look at some of the concussions that James Tedesco has received. It's because players know they've got to shut down his time. So they fly into him with everything they've got because he is so quick. And he can turn on a dime, and he's got the quick hands. So, look, I don't think he'd be looking at it as a compliment because he is so good. People need to shut down his space. And unfortunately, they get that tackle wrong, like Bailey Simonson.
Yeah.
Got it wrong because he went ball and all, because he kind of had to. Because that's the tactic to close James Tedesco out the back, is fly off, put him under pressure, make the kill. But you get it wrong.
Yep.
But that's still, like, these Thursday night games have been insane.
Such good scheduling from the NRL. Sets the weekend up so
doesn't
nicely.
it just?
Yeah.
Like, the games have been out of control, unpredictable, crazy, great to watch, standard through the roof. Like, but then the Thursday nights, they're just the anticipation around that game. Like, two of the heavyweights of the last decade going at it. You've thrown a few subplots here and there as well. Oh,
Who do you like in that game then?
only the Storm at home. Yeah,
I disagree. I think the Roosters are starting to click.
You disagree?
Yeah, disagree. Yeah, I think the Roosters get him.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you reckon of Manu at fullback versus Swally?
I think Manu probably is entitled to get the crack because of how much longer he's been in the Roosters. Also, he's staying there long term. He's probably going to be their fullback long term after Tedesco leaves. You would think. He's also been amazing at fullback when he's played how he was for New Zealand in the World Cup. He was unbelievable. One of the best fullbacks in the world.
It'd be interesting if Swally he was staying. What Trent Robinson would have done if that had swayed his opinion either way.
Well, I'm sure it would have. I'm sure it would have. Like, why would you spend any time developing another fullback? Like, when the more experience they can get Joe Manu in that position, the better.
Yeah, I guess he's doing what's best for the Roosters.
Yeah,
and look, it might have even been the case. Well, it probably would be the case that if Joseph was staying, they would have, in these circumstances, they would have gone with Joey Manu. But
the thing is, they've got three of the best fullbacks in the comp, the Sydney Roosters. Genuinely, Tedesco, Suoli'i, and Manu would all be starting fullbacks at other clubs and would all be one of the better starting fullbacks.
Like we are. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches that the NRL have in terms of fullbacks, but you're not far off the truth there.
Now, a game I'm excited to talk to you about. It's the Easter Friday, Good Friday, Doggies against the Bunnies. I'm sure it was one of your favourite games you've ever played in. And Anthony quite rightly pointed out, Jared Sutton is refereeing that game as well. Little reunion. Maybe get you on the field.
The Dogs are decimated in their forward stocks, but if Cameron Serraldo is thinking of calling out, the answer is no. I couldn't think much worse.
What was it like playing in that game, though?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. So back in England, we'd have Good Friday games, St. Helens v Wigan, huge derby. I used to love that feeling of, just waking up for... Because normally a day game as well in England, so you'd wake up and you had to be on pretty quick. But then coming over here, obviously it was the subplots, like I spoke about, the British lads or the English lads going up against each other that added to the hype. But I just love getting out there, that warm up. You've got big crowd.
Sun's always shining for that game, isn't it?
And I love playing in front of big crowds. I used to love that feeling going out to warm up. Souths wouldn't, because they get looked after. They're spoilt little brats. They get their own dressing room, their own warm up area. So we'd be out warming up on our own, taking in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Loved it. And then some went right, some went wrong. But it was just an awesome way to kick off your Easter, and those feelings of walking out to blue and white screaming and then just being in that cauldron. And obviously that time in 15, it did boil over. I look back at that and I know I got that one wrong, but that was me being me. That was who I was.
Was that the same game we said you think you can't be tackled, Burgess? Or was that a different game?
That was a different game. That was a different game. I can't remember when that was, but no, that wasn't that day. We were at we were at it though.
The referees robbed you in 2015, though, didn't they?
Oh no, not 2015. Sorry, no, he'd gone by then.
Ah,
He was playing rugby.
yeah, of course.
Mm.
What was the one where you didn't shake his hand? What
that-
year was that?
That was
a Good Friday game, wasn't it?
No, that was
No?
the last game of the season because Souths didn't make the 8,
Yeah.
and the Dogs did, and then they decided to have like a little debrief on the field and make a circle.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for them. We're out of here. Why would we wait?
Mm.
That was a different day, but
You fired up in your eyes even now looking at it.
yeah, I know. Good, really
It's
good.
scary that I was like, oh, fuck.
Really good Good Friday. Good Friday story.
Yeah.
So when I first moved here, good friends of ours, we ended up moving into an apartment. Next door neighbours become really good friends, and my very first Good Friday game. Really good friends of ours lived next door. We didn't know them. We met them. One was a Bulldogs fan. One was a Souths fan. On the morning of my very first Good Friday game, there's a knock at the door. I'm like, oh, this is a bit weird. Open the door, and Kate, who's the Souths fan, she decked herself out like a full like bunny suit. I was like, whoa, like what's going on? And she's like, good luck today. I'm like, do what? Like I'm getting prepped here. But yeah, there were good times. A bit strange though, like in England, Good Friday, huge night.
Right. Yeah, everything closes here.
Mate, bizarre.
I know, it's a Catholic church.
But we have that in England. But like honestly, Good Friday's one of the best nights out. I remember coming back here and then went to the pub and closing at like 8 o'clock. I was like, what's going on? So, oh no, Good Friday.
So if you listen to the podcast today on Thursday, make sure you buy your drinks because the bottle shops are shut as well. So
yes, I couldn't believe that.
It's actually a nightmare. I've been going to a house party before on Good Friday and just sort of lobbed up to a bottle shop and it was closed. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Free drinks all night though, because what can you do on there?
The old, hey, did you? Oh, I'll sort you on. Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, these are the type of games that you miss. And you really do. There's not much better than that rivalry, the subplots.
It is always a great crowd as well because people lob in from the Easter show. You know, you get a packed house.
Yeah.
40,000
Yeah,
plus.
there should be 40,000 plus. And obviously, you know, both teams are ticking along quite well, which is great for the game. But yeah, Good Friday. Oh, actually, does anyone out there have a time machine? Because I'd love to go back. It made me feel alive.
Would you go back to 2015 just to change that? Calm yourself down a little bit? Just go right through it. Just whack him?
Just no, just for the crack. Just to feel like I'm content and life's all good. But just be in that moment.
Because if you go...
being nuts.
Because if you go back and change it, things might change now and you might not be sitting here doing the bar round.
Yeah, you never know. The butterfly effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a crazy time. I'll probably go back to the first or second one in 12 or 13 or maybe 14 where it was just... Yeah, I can't even remember the results. I know we had a pretty good record. Yeah. But it's just all in. And
I'm guessing you're tipping the doggies.
Yes, I will be.
Yeah. All right. Well, to Saturday then, and Friday night. Can't forget Friday night. The Cowboys are taking on the Dolphins. It's kind of the Dolphins' depth has been really tested with losing a couple of players because they haven't got much there after that. You know.
Well, but any team that loses their first choice half and then their second choice half is going to be under the pump.
Yep.
That's a fair point. The Dolphins aren't immune to that.
No,
of course
but
it affects them. It affects them more.
But also, their second choice halfback probably wouldn't make most NRL teams anyway. At the Dolphins,
yeah, and you could argue that Sean O'Sullivan wouldn't either. But
yeah,
they've done a really good job there, and I've really liked what Sean O'Sullivan's brought into the organisation. And yeah, of course, they're decimated and they're struggling, and they had a.
Kafusi's was a massive loss last week. He's going to be a massive loss for the next couple of weeks as well.
Like they're missing their best and most influential players. Like most teams suffer. Like, and they are probably suffer disproportionately due to the fact that, you know, they were they due to if you look at their recruitment and their squad and their base that they're coming off the new team, it's going to affect them more than it is the average other teams. But Wayne won't be looking for excuses. Wayne will be looking for effort areas, and just being consistent, hanging on in there. What will disappoint Wayne the most is in that Dragons game to start that Jacob Liddle show and go out dummy half on the try line. Try.
Yeah.
Blake Lawrie short ball on the try line. Try. That's what will piss Wayne off. Is why are you making life easy for our opposition? Make it difficult for them, and that was too easy for the Dragons. So that'll be fix that up. You put yourself and give yourself an opportunity to win the game. Look at the try that the Hammer scored.
Yeah.
Or was it Asako? Sorry, that it was either Asako to finish the game. The couple of forward passes into the corner.
I can't remember. I worked that game as well. I can't remember it.
I can't remember. It was either Asako or the Hammer that scored in the corner. It was a magnificent try.
I think Asako made the break and then flicked it back into someone else. I don't know if it was the Hammer or if it might have been the Hammer, but I know that he flicked it back in.
It was in.
Was it Brenko Lee? Maybe
no, it wasn't Brenko. Anyway, but that's what the Dolphins are still capable of doing and producing. But they've just got to fix up those soft tries that they scored, that they conceded. They do that, and they'll have a better opportunity against the Cowboys. However, look, I'm backing the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, they need to win desperately as well.
Yeah,
the Cowboys.
they do.
It's starting to get a little bit concerning.
Yeah, we've come to expect a lot, and they need some victories. But I do think they'll get one at home.
Just the 2 games on Saturday, which makes me very sad because I do love the 3 p.m. Saturday game. But the first one is the Panthers against the Seagulls, 5:30 kickoff. It's a bit of I don't know. I really don't know about this game. I think the Panthers maybe flogged Manly.
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
Manly have been...
They've leaked over 30 points down 2 games.
Yeah. And a game they really should have won. They got off to a flyer.
Yeah.
And then, but that said, like, if it wasn't for last week's performance from Penrith, I might have questioned it, but is one performance enough to bring them back? I think they've got enough to get the victory at home.
Yeah.
That they should do it, but
they normally struggle a bit against the top teams as well, Manly. They'll have done the last few years.
That's right.
Well, like Gerds a couple of years back called them flat track bullies. And he wasn't wrong. In the finals, they got carved up against the best teams. But I don't know. I think Manly might have overhyped them the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, maybe. I still think there's plenty of improvement in Manly.
Yep.
They're great in attack, but defensively, I think Seabold and Flanagan and the rest of them will be looking to fix that up. But I've got the Panthers in that one as well. Saturday
night, then the Broncos against the Raiders. And interesting sort of story around the Raiders. Jackie Whiten's now been offered a 4-year, $4.5 million deal to stay in Canberra. Geez, that's a lot of money for a 30-year-old.
Yeah, it is. But that's the carrot that the Raiders probably got to dangle.
Yeah.
To keep him. Because then... And I think they know just how difficult it would be to replace him. Not just replace him, but then recruit other players. And also look at other players that want to get off the boat. I mean... He's so key for them, mate.
Yeah.
He's so key. Look, this is one of my arguments in the player option, club option. Yeah. We wouldn't be having this issue.
Do you know what I do think is... something that I think is a bit strange that everyone's bringing up with Jack White is about like loyalty. He's talking about the club's done this for him, so they've looked after him with some of his off-field issues, so he should be loyal to them. Well, he should just be loyal to himself, I think. You know, like, although the Canberra's done stuff for him, I'm sure Canberra's gotten rid of players who have been loyal to them. Loyalty is a two-way street in sport, and, you know, not like a player's entitled to hit the open market. I think everyone just comes out and uses that he should be loyal. I don't really think he needs to be loyal. But he's 30. If he wants to get as much money as possible, or if he wants to go and chase a premiership, if these are his reasons for leaving, just let him do it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it works both ways. So yeah. I know plenty of players, myself included, that have felt, you know, connected to a club and being let go at the time. and you just move on. But it's you could argue why aren't clubs more loyal? Because they're in the business of winning.
Yeah.
And why aren't players loyal sometimes? Because they're in the business of winning, and that's hard to hear as fans. It is.
I'm sure Jack White loves the Raiders.
Yeah.
But if the Raiders isn't the best option for him, and to be fair, him being offered $4.5 million, that might be his best option financially. So he could stay because 4 years. It's a long contract as well.
It is.
Broncos, I'm guessing for you in that game.
Oh, they are on fire.
They're now the third premiership favourite.
Doesn't surprise me, Charlie.
Yeah.
And they've earned that tag. They've performed so well. Like Reece Walsh, I remember, I'm going to be honest, I had my reservations. I wasn't quite sure if he was the answer. I even envisaged them putting Cobbo there at fullback at some point during the year if Reece Walsh has like a form dip or he can't get it. But he is lightning. And you know what? They're really exciting to watch.
Yeah, they are.
Now, whether or not that comes back to bite them in the arse, just their style of play, I don't know. And whether or not they'll do that when the big games come. But, God, they are good to watch.
They're very good to watch. Sunday then, Titans against the Dragons. Sort of a tough game to call. They're both $1.80 on the betting market on Ladbrokes. It's a really tough one to call. We're actually going to be there.
I was going to say, do you mean it's a tough game to call as in like for radio that we'll be doing? Like it's going to be a hard watch or?
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure we'll be a hungover watch, that's for sure. But no, we're going to the Gold Coast Saturday, aren't we?
We are, Charlie. Looking forward to it.
Should be fun.
I'm going to back the Dragons in this one. Obviously they got a good win. Debacle and Amone back doing really well. They look good. Confidence boosting win against the Dolphins. They knew they needed it, and it's 6 again. Job needed up there, and obviously there's a couple of key omissions from the Titans, so Dragons in that one.
And then the late Sunday game, Knights against the Warriors. The Warriors are actually $1.80 favourite, so they reckon it's a tough game to call the betting markets. Maybe they're thinking the Warriors going to have a dip, but I think the Warriors are a lot better than the Knights.
Mate, they have been sensational, and they've had adversity. So look back at the game on the weekend against the Sharks, down 20-0 in all sorts, in the wet. They completed high, they hung on in there, they found a way back. And then Sean Johnson, what a player. But you know what else they did in that game? Sean Johnson, he missed the kick to touch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
He didn't find touch on a penalty.
Yeah.
And you just think, that's Warriors. They're killing themselves. Yeah. But they hung on in there and helped their mate out. And they got the job done. It's incredible. The adversity that they showed against the Dogs, the no try from Kickout's strip, which I thought was a strip. They conceded the scrum. It should have been a try. Bang, through the hands, Adokar scores. Like, there's adversity. You think it's over. Their try line defence that day was spectacular. There was some issues with it against the Sharks. But, I'm backing the Warriors to beat them.
Yeah. I saw a story as well that Andrew Webster's gave 14 players a rest for one of the sessions this week. Because obviously there's so much travelling back and forth, and that's got to take its toll. They keep having to go back to Auckland, come back to Sydney.
Yeah. And it's probably something they're just familiarising themselves with. Obviously, it used to be a constant, but that's kind of a new thing. So it will take a bit of adjusting, but smart move.
And they've had a 7-day turner as well, so plenty of rest. I mean,
smart
agree.
move.
Is this going to be a same-game multi, the Warriors?
It sure is, yeah.
What have you got for us then, Jimmy?
So I have got Warriors with the line, which I believe, if memory serves me correctly,
I think it's 1.5 the line.
Yeah. So I've got Warriors there.
Warriors minus 1.5.
Over. What have I got? Over the points, I think it's 42.5.
Yep.
Yeah, total points. Yeah, over 42.5 points. And I'm not going to mention who I think should be on the anytime, because obviously I did that last week.
Jordan Ricky, did he score 2 tries or just 1?
Yeah, 2. I'm going to go Dom Young.
Dom Young anytime.
But yeah, just for those listeners, Charlie the shithouse. You pick a same game multi, it comes in.
Yeah.
If it's Charlie, it's plastered all over our socials. Everywhere. He's self-acclaimed the guru or the oracle.
Yeah, the oracle.
Like well done. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Mate, I think you tipped the Broncos minus 15.5. That was like your only leg of the bet from memory. You might have had one other leg. You might have gone, minus 15.5. And I'll go Cobbo to score a try. That's wow.
But mate, it's still 3 legs.
Broncos to cover the line against the Tigers. Ooh, $3. What did it pay? $3?
Something like that.
Yeah,
all right.
Mine paid $7.
If you can turn your nose up at that sort of money, some of us battlers we enjoy that.
But mine paid $7, so I think that's why probably the socials,
Yeah,
and there was also
because you're in control of it, basically.
Well, no, I'm not in control of the socials. That's Anthony's domain. But I will say this on the TikTok, a lot of people have been calling me a legend. So, and one person said, "Wow, what a lad for predicting this." Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And some people have been privately messaging me asking for tips.
Have they? Were you basking all your glory, Charlie?
And the guy who messaged me, he sent me a message, and then I sent him a tip back, and it didn't get up that tip.
Well, there you go. What's that paying? The same game multi.
That one, it's paying good, mate.
Warriors to beat the line 1.5 over 42.5 points, and Dom Young any
See,
time.
this might get you a shout out. It's paying $6.68 in the Ladbrokes app.
All right.
Yeah.
And you know what I've done?
You've backed the Warriors.
I've gone against your rule. But that's not my rule. So
No.
That's your rule.
Well, to be fair, I think you got to back the Warriors this year. However, when it all comes crumbling down, you just get on the team the Warriors are playing. I'm not saying it will come crumbling down, but inevitably with the Warriors, it does.
All right. Well, I'm sure Andrew Webster's got something to say about that. And
Yep.
Tommy Hackett, watch out.
All right, final game of the round, Easter Monday. We've spent a lot of time on the Tigers, but it's actually kind of a bottom of the table clash up against the grand finalists, the Parramatta Eels.
Danger game for Para.
Yeah, they have to win.
It's mentality that you feel hard done by that you've had 5 really tough games to kick off the year, but you got to know that the Tigers are coming here. Surely the message is everybody hates us. They can't wait for us to lose. Boys, just go out there and get the win. And like I said earlier in the piece, sometimes all you need is a win, and then that can kickstart, and it'll shut everybody up for at least a week. But unfortunately for the Tigers, I'm back in the Eels.
Yeah, and that's my same game multi.
Oh, is it?
And it's a bit of I think it's actually just going to be like a proper Eels bash up. Do you remember that when it was called Bank West, the first game of the season,
Mitchell
Mo scored. Tigers won like 50-6 or something like that. Well, I think it's going to be similar. I've got the Eels minus 13.5, Micah Sevo score a try, Mitchell Moses to score a try, and Will Penasini to score a try. $18.44. That's what that's paying. So if that gets up, that definitely will be on the socials.
Oh, yeah. Won't we know it?
Yeah.
Won't we know it? It'll be a nice way to round off your Easter as well.
Yeah, I'll be getting on that on the Ladbrokes app for sure.
Yeah, nice. All good. Well, I think that just about
wraps it up.
Yeah. Been a great show as always, Charlie. Thanks for listening, everybody. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and enjoy the football this weekend. Hopefully the NRL continues on to provide us with the quality entertainment that it has done so far this year. Thanks for watching and or listening.